Good morning. Welcome to Caffeinate Your Career. Today's topic, staying motivated when results are slow. I'm your host, the career coach with the most, Jason Hopper. I am flying solo today, and also just really happy to be back on on the podcast because we've been off due to the Jewish high holidays, and I just got back from vacation. And if you follow me on LinkedIn, you can go see the pictures from my vacation. We had an excellent time, and it's good to get away, but I'm happy to be back now. And check to see if we are live, and it appears I am live. And I can hear me, so great. Everything is working the way it's supposed to. So, it's hard to stay motivated. Job search, I say all the time, like job search is hard. It just is. And sometimes, like when things get slow, it's a lot harder to continue to stay motivated. I think the first thing that I would probably do is normalize the slow pace. The job market is trash right now, and I don't mean to. I'm not trying to be a downer. I promise I'm not. That's why we're doing this podcast today. Is how to continue to stay motivated when things are slow. But there's a lot of competition in the market and not enough jobs. Everything that I've been seeing and reading is saying that it's going to take anywhere from 8 to 10 months for you to get employed in a position that you actually want to do. That's what I keep reading. I don't think that that's quite correct. I have some clients that have gone back that have been working with me and have gone back to work within 3 to 6 months. I suppose it could be that they started their job search before they came to start working with me, but I just like to think I'm that damn good. So normalize the slow pace. Know that it is going to take a lot longer than what people expect from you for your job search. A lot of people think that, oh yeah, I get a job, it'll be pretty easy. It's not. It's a grind. So normalize the slow pace. Know that everybody is going through the same thing. You need to realize too, like if you don't get a response from the employer. Don't take that personally. Job postings are currently getting anywhere from 100 to 150 people applying or more, depending on the position. And employers don't have time to respond to 150 applicants. Oftentimes, you will get the auto-generated email, the rejection email. Those are actually set up by the applicant tracking software. Companies can set those auto-generated emails to get sent back to you within 24 hours to 48 hours to a week. It just depends on the software and how they have the settings. Just know, too, when you get those auto-generated rejection emails, they're not always, it's not always a finite thing. I've had several clients in many years that I've been doing this, and they're like, Jason, something's really weird happened. I'm like, well, what was it? So, well, I got this email from them that said that they weren't interested in me, and then like a week later, the recruiter called. I'm like, oh, yeah, that happens. Take all of those with kind of a grain of salt, unless you have like an actual person's name and HR that has said, we're moving on with a different candidate. Anything auto-generated, your resume and applications field could be in play. I think the lack of response does not mean you have a lack of worth. You have value that you can provide to the employer, and you need to make sure that you remember that as well, that you do have that value. Another suggestion I'm going to make to stay motivated when results are slow is to make sure that you set process goals, not outcome goals. And the reason for this is in job search, really almost anything in life, the only thing that you can control is the process, right? And we all do this as humans, like when you start to worry about the outcome, we will drive ourselves crazy. And again, which is something that we do as human beings. But if you stay focused on the process only, you will be in control of the entire job search and will feel a lot better because you can control how many people you talk to, how many skills that you may have learned, how many jobs that you've applied to. Those are things that you can control. Like what happens next, I don't know, and we can't control that. So come up with goals that are going to be process driven. Also, I think it's important to make sure that you are celebrating the consistency of the process, right? Because, like, oftentimes, especially with either social media and or email, you assume that the response should be like immediate, right? Like you hit send on the email, it's gone, right? And oftentimes it's like, well, I should get an email back within a couple of days, maybe, but maybe not. Everybody's busy and they have some other priorities. For example, like if you're just emailing, if you're a client, you're just emailing me to check in, you may not get a response for 2 or 3 days because it's not a priority type of email. So remember that, be consistent and make sure that you are celebrating the fact that you are consistent in the job search. Speaking of job search, and I get asked this question a lot, and or I will ask clients this question, which is, how much time are you spending on your job search? Right? Because I think sometimes the idea is, well, I'm employed, or when I was employed, I worked 8 hours a day. Okay? So I should be looking for a job, because that's my new job now, and I should probably be looking for a job 8 hours a day. I do not recommend that. That's going to lead to frustration and burnout pretty fast. I do recommend that if you want to be successful in your job search, you should be spending about 4 hours a day. I recommend 2 hours in the morning and then 2 hours later in the evening. By the way, when I say in the evening, that does not mean like 3, 4, 5. I mean, you could, spend like 8 to 9 or 8 to 10. I'm sorry, that would be 2 hours. Like creating content or for LinkedIn, or even doing outreach to people that are in your network by email and or text. I think always a good rule of thumb is like anything after 10 o'clock is probably, you don't want to text somebody after 10, unless you just know them really well and you know that they're a night owl or something. But like up to that point, I think would probably be okay. So create that routine. I all the time will show clients my calendar to see, okay, here's where my next availability actually is, and you can see what it is that I'm doing, right? But everything on my calendar, everything in my day is scheduled up to and including lunch. My lunch hour is blocked out. I have specific times, not only for clients, but things that will be blocked out. I think it's a good idea to block time to do specific tasks in your job search. Like a lot of what you should be doing in your job search is nothing but talking to people. Don't forget, we communicate differently today. You can text somebody, you can email somebody, you can get on LinkedIn and just like, tag, and comment on other people's content. That is networking. That is talking to people. By the way, it doesn't have to be LinkedIn. You can do the same on, like, say, Instagram or Facebook, or wherever you are working on building that brand, your brand, the personal brand. But block out time to do things, right? I mean, you may, and everybody's day is going to look different according to like what they're trying to do and accomplish within the job search. But it's a great idea to just block time to do specific tasks. Also, too, you feel much better in doing it. Like, and I'm big on lists and check. Like, okay, so you spent 2 hours One, you attend a meetup for people that like to watch detective TV shows, let's say. Okay, great, that's networking. That's one block of time. The next block of time might be we're going to research some target companies and make notes and see if this is someplace where we actually do really want to work, right? And then like later you can come back and do like another networking event, or just text friends or family to see what's going on, or even former work colleagues, especially if you were involved in a layoff, because they're out there and looking too. And in job search, we'll talk about this in a minute, but it is lonely. It's just you doing it until you start getting people behind you to help you out with it. Your mug. So be consistent and create that routine. Okay. Also, make sure that when you are working, so that's 2 hours. Is that going to be 2 hours back to back consecutive? Could be, but not necessarily. I'm a big believer in taking breaks. Like as you are working through your process, like take a break and get up, go walk around the block real quick. Like it's important it's really important, guys, that you get outside. If you're just sitting behind the computer all day doing job search stuff, that's not going to work. You have to be out and in the world and seeing people, and just get away for a minute. You don't want to burn out. Nobody wants to burn out in like any situation. It's not fun. So take breaks. In fact, one of the things that I am big on and that I love, and it's harder to do sometimes than not, but is to gamify the job search, right? Like, okay, so my goal today is going to be to try and outreach, let's say, 3 people at 4 different target companies on LinkedIn. I'm going to try to get connected to them. All right, and so that's the goal. And then once that's done, you get a cookie or whatever your thing is. Right? You get to take a break and you get to do whatever the thing is that you really like doing for 15 minutes or so. Like the end, the reward is the end result of you completing the task. Right? Gamify it. See if it'll work for you. It does work for some people, but either way, it gets a little bit fun, especially if you are really like cookies, or want to stop and play a video game for a minute, or play some Candy Crush on the phone, right? Whatever your thing is, like you get to gamify it, and once you're done, then you get your break, you take your break, and you get to do the thing that you like to do, right? Okay. Another way to stay motivated with results. So make sure that you're tracking small wins. Okay. I think it's a good idea to keep a progress journal of your job search, like the people that you've spoken to or got connected to on LinkedIn, what kind of positive feedback that you might have gotten. One of the things that I recommend to my clients is that come up with like an attributes list. Like, why are you awesome at your job? Right? And then just add to that, like, why you're a nice human. The reason is you've got something tangible that you can look at, either that or in your phone or wherever it might be, so that if you start to self-doubt, or when we have a visual reminder of our progress, it helps us keep and maintain that momentum. It's really, really easy to fall behind on job search. Because and again, a big believer in taking breaks, but maybe like for one day, and I believe in taking days off too, right? I mean, if you were in a position and you were employed somewhere, you're going to have vacation time. You're going to take time off. Same thing. I think it's okay to take a day or 2 off of the job search. You don't have to be going all the time on the grind. That'll help with you staying, not getting burnt out, but also too, when we start to backslide, it's real easy to down spiral. And again, you got to remember you control the process. So let's say you didn't get the job. That's not great. In fact, it's not fun at all. But feel all the feels. Like be sad. Go, shake your fist or cry or whatever you want to do. Great. Feel all the feels. And if you take a day, great. But then you got to get back up and get back to it. Because too much of a stopgap is going to create a more of an environment where you are not productive. And then you start to wonder, start dwelling on the negative. You start to ruminate on things that are, oh, I can't get employed because, well, you can't get employed because you took like 3 weeks off and your competition slid into those jobs, right? I'm real big on positivity, focusing on the things that we can control and staying positive and not focusing on negative. Once we start to focus on the negative of why we can't do this or why this is not happening, but this is what I essentially do with clients is I help build a process for them for their job search to make them successful. So make sure that you're keeping that log. Again, visual things are big helpful to us to keep us, motivated and moving on. Next, for helping stay motivated. Upskill. Like, what can you learn in your downtime while you are looking for work? Can you take a Coursera course on business analytics to learn something? Can you get a certification in generative AI? What is it that you're going to be doing to increase your skill and stay relevant? I'm going to tell you for sure the recruiter and probably the hiring manager are going to ask. So, I'm looking at your resume, and it looks like you haven't been employed for the past 9 months. What have you been doing in your downtime? You better have a better, yes, that's right, I said that twice. Have a great answer, because it can't be, I've been looking for work. You've been looking for work for 9 months and you haven't found anything. Well, again, the job market's trash. You can't really say you're not real good at looking at work. I mean, everybody's trying. They are trying. But if you're saying, hey, you know what? In my downtime, I have started taking a Excel class so I can learn how to increase my skills in Excel. I don't know if you guys use that here, but I am determined to get through this class so that I know how to do VLOOKUPs and pivot charts and all the things, right? And it might not be Excel, it could be something else, but like let the person know what you're doing. Maybe you are volunteering somewhere. Companies like people that give back and volunteer. So it's like, oh, you know what? Yeah, part of what I do in my downtime is I work at the food pantry at JFS Dallas. I do that, twice a week. Keeps me out, gets me out, and keeps me talking to people and energized. Okay, that's completely great and acceptable, right? But I do know too, learning keeps you motivated and it boosts your confidence because you're learning a new skill. By the way, for those of you who are experienced, rich job seekers, workers, like myself, if you're in the interview and you keep interviewing and you're not getting the job, you're probably not conveying a desire to continue to learn. Typically, experienced job seekers do not get hired for one of two reasons. It's either, well, back in the day, nobody cares what happened back in the day. Employers want to know how you can move them forward, not what happened back in the day. Or, we've always done it like this. No, that's not getting you anywhere. You need to make sure that you are letting them know you're a lifelong learner and you're consistently wanting to learn new skills. That is what is going to win the day if you are 40 and above. Next, I like this. It said, use networking as an energy boost. Yes. So, I think the best way to get into any new job situation is straight up to talking to people. Today's job search is all about who knows you. Who knows who you are and what you're trying to accomplish, what kind of job that you're trying to get into. This means, especially if you think that you want to pivot into a career doing something else, by the way, it's a terrible time to try to pivot into something else. It just is. There's too much competition. I'm not really recommending that clients do that. Yes, you may be extraordinary at what you do, and you can do it. I'm not saying you can't do it. Don't misunderstand me. I'm just saying if you want to go to work faster, you might want to stick with the same industry that you're in. But it can be done, but you have to start talking to people. I think it's a great idea, as far as job search goes, to spend 80% of your time doing nothing but that. Do nothing but talk to people. The other 20%, yeah, we can, research companies on LinkedIn, apply to a job maybe here and there. But spend as much time as you can communicating with people. Again, I just went over texting and emailing and all that, right? It does work for sure. Here's the other thing, right? Because I can tell you what's going to happen. I will tell you what will happen, right? You go get into some meetups or networking events or, whatever you want to do, right? So long as you get a chance to share and tell your story. And then here's what's going to happen. Nothing. Nothing is going to happen. You're going to get connected to people. Oh my gosh, let's get connected to on LinkedIn. Here's my QR code. Dude, now you're connected. All right, great. And nothing will happen. But this is just how life works. 3 weeks, maybe 6, maybe 8. Somebody that you met in your let's just say backgammon meetup. By the way, that is, I just threw that out there. That was wild that I just picked backgammon, but I walk a lot, and in the suburbs when it's hot, I go walk at the mall because it's climate control, and there's a backgammon meetup at a little bit mall every Sunday at 1 o'clock. I see these people that are playing backgammon. So it's a thing. It is. I'm not just making stuff up. That is an actual meetup. I've seen it. So you meet somebody at this meetup, and now here it is, weeks later, and they're talking to their brother, who's like, oh my gosh, I am about to quit. It's just super stressful. Our project manager walked off the job 3 weeks ago, and I don't even, and you're like, oh, I know a guy, right? He's in my meetup, and now you got the lead. That's how these things work. It's how these things work. Also, too, just realize, again, I said nothing is going to happen until it does, right? But there's really not any kind of a downside to talking to people and networking. You get to know people and know their stories, and I go to meetups. My meetup is every Wednesday. It's a gaming meetup. I know what everybody does in my meetup for a living. I know what whose kid is failing math currently. I know who just got back from vacation. It's me, right? And they know what I do for a living. So, go to meetups, get out there and start talking to people because it's going to be the thing that is going to make the difference. And also, too, it built, having those conversations, having those story events where you can tell your stories to people, it helps build belonging. And that also builds trust. And pretty much every relationship is built on trust. If it's not, it's just not going to work. I'm sorry. But, it's the thing that's going to make the difference. So make sure that you're talking to people, please. Next, mindset shift. I'm real big. Make no mistake. Job search is a mindset game. I tell every client that comes to sit down with me and see me that I can teach them everything they need to do to be successful, but if they don't have the right mindset, none of it's going to work anyway. You have to have that right mindset. Part of that happens to be with not only believing in yourself and that you are able to do the job. Again, write down an attributes list of things that can help you out while you're good at what you do. But also too, and this is what's so great about talking to people and networking, because once you understand that the very next person you speak to could potentially be the unlock to your next great opportunity, things get real interesting really fast, right? Because if it's not that person, it will be the next person, or the next person, or the next person, or the next person. But once you understand that, and that you just need the one yes, that one yes from an employer could change your entire life. And this is like an old sales thing, right? Which is every no that you gets you closer to that yes. And that's also kind of true. You know what I mean? It just is. You talk about a numbers game or the numbers game, like how many applications you can apply to. Really, I think, honestly, I think that unless you're applying to a job that's a target company where you know somebody, applying to jobs is a huge time-sucking waste of time. It just is. And that's because of the applicant tracking software, which is designed to block 97% of the people that apply. Okay? It's very well known I don't do math well, but if you reverse that math, it's just like if you're just doing nothing but applying, the result is 3% that somebody's going to pick up the phone call. And that's just how the software works and also how recruiting works as well. Keep that, that positive mindset. Trust me, any recruiter worth their salt, they're going to know within a few minutes whether or not you've got that positive mindset or not. And in fact, most recruiters, we've had recruiters on before that have said that within about 2 minutes, well, more than that, they've already decided if they're moving this person forward in the process. So a lot of it, attitude, your body language, how you present yourself, and those first 2 minutes, critical. Otherwise, you're not moving on to the next round. Here's something that I think is always interesting. It's a good idea to get an accountability buddy. You can join and or start an accountability group for your job search. It will help with you guys sharing wins, but also, any frustrations you have too, because you got to remember they're going through the same thing. I tell all my clients, you've got an accountability buddy. It's me. It's me. There are things that you need to do, work that has to be done and put in. And if it's not done, and I'm real upfront with all my clients on this too, I'm like, there's the door. It's that simple. You either put in work or we're not working together. Period. So get an accountability buddy. I think it does help overall. So, and I've known some clients that have started accountability groups. Um, but it also, and we talk about the wins, like celebrating those wins. Like, and this also comes into play with mindset, right? Because let's say you got the interview, but you didn't get the job. Again, I'm sorry, and that does suck. But the win is you got the interview. Or maybe you got a second interview or third interview, like you didn't get the job, but you got that far in the process. Because again, if let's just say 150, if job applications are getting 150 people applying to them, and you get a call in the interview, that's a win. That's a win all day long because you just beat out 149 other people because they didn't get the call. You did. So remember that as well. Again, mindset, recognizing those smaller wins. Celebrate non-job victories. Job search is grind, it is, but what else are you doing? Like, is your health and fitness a priority? Right? What about, we talk about volunteering? Right? Like, what other personal projects or things are you doing to stay motivated? Right? Because it makes a big difference in keeping you motivated. Because working on those personal goals is just as important. So make sure that you are keeping that energy high and celebrating those personal goals too. Just like for me, because I told you, I walk. Unless something is happening, I'll walk like 5 to 7 miles a day. It's just a thing that is a motivator and a non-negotiable thing. This is something that will happen. I will make time to do this. That's the thing with any goal. You have to make time to do it. If you don't, it's not going to get done. And, now you feel bad because you didn't meet the goal. Like, set those goals, process goals, set those goals, even personal ones, right? Like, I got a buddy who's working on losing weight. He's got a specific goal in mind of a day that, like by December he wants to be this much, have lost this much weight. And he's working to do it and doing a great job. Okay. Last bit of staying motivated when results are slow is remind yourself of the why. What is your overall long-term career goal? Why do you want to work in the field that you do? By the way, hopefully it's something that you enjoy doing. I love working here. It's worked out well for me, and I love my job, right? Because I get to help people go back to work. And I think it's a good idea always to start applying to jobs and or start interviewing for jobs based on purpose versus money, right? I think it's never a good idea to chase money. And I just know from experience, I did this when I was young and starting out in my career in staffing. Because staffing, you get to be real good at your job, or you don't have a job. It's very competitive. It can be. I've worked in some boiler room places before, and so again, you either get real good or you just don't have a job, and the money's always good, right? Because placing people bonus, however the things are going to go. And I did that. I chased money for when I was young in my 20s until I realized that I have just in what I do the ability to change people's lives and help them out. And I do believe that if you are working for a purpose, if you are working for something that you are passionate about, the money will eventually follow. It will. Eventually. I mean, it might not be where you're currently working or where you got a job. By the way, like, I get it. Like, sometimes you just need to take a job to have the cash flow. I understand that's totally fine. And, but as you're trying to work towards the goal, whatever the end result that you want to do is, and I just went through this with a client who wants to pivot to do something else and thinks he can get a job in his current career a lot faster. I'm like, go do that. Like, go and do that. Now you got cash flow, you've got the experience to do it, and then work on building to what is your dream job that you want to do. That's totally okay. Like, everybody's situation is different. But, I think that the money, eventually the money will come, provided that you, have that passion to do what it is that you have chosen to do in your career. So, those, by the way, those were 10 different ways on how to stay motivated when your job search gets slow. Fun question for the day. You'll have to tell me because, I'm the only one here today. Do you like going hiking? I love it. We just got back from the Rocky Mountains and Estes Park, Colorado, and we hiked a lot. I did a lot of hiking in the mountains, and it was awesome. And so let me know in the comments, do you like to go hiking? Next week, I'm going to have Jill Tokamoto on. She is our Senior Director of Career and Financial Services, and we will be discussing why college graduates are the newest group of job seekers that are struggling now more than ever. So, educational base, Jill's got an education background. Come back and see us next week. In the meantime, this has been Caffeinate Your Career, and everybody have a great week. Bye.